Listen to me, right now. Stop whatever you're doing and listen, because what I'm about to tell you could change the rest of your life. I mean that. Not as a figure of speech, not as some motivational poster slogan. I mean, it will literally change the number of years you have on this earth and the quality of every single one of those years. I'm Jack Lalanne, and I want to ask you something. When was the last time you picked up something heavy on purpose? Not a bag of groceries, not a suitcase at the airport. I mean, when did you walk up to a barbell or a dumbbell or even a heavy rock and say, I'm going to lift you. I'm going to make you my tool. I'm going to use you to build the greatest body I possibly can. When did you last do that? A week ago? A year ago? Never? Because here's what I know. Your body is screaming at you right now. It's begging you. It's saying, give me a challenge. Give me something to work against. Give me a reason to grow. And most of you are walking around ignoring that cry. You're sitting, you're scrolling, you're watching other people live on a screen while your own magnificent machine rusts from the inside out. I'm in my 70s, 70 years old, and this very morning, I got up at 4 o'clock. 4 in the morning. While most of the world was fast asleep dreaming about getting fit someday, I went to my gym. I spent 90 minutes with the weights, heavy lifting, real work, iron against muscle, sweat on the floor. Then I swam for 30 minutes. And you know what? I felt alive. I felt the way a human being is supposed to feel. Powerful, alert, grateful, ready. Now I want to tell you something about where I came from, because I don't want you thinking I was born this way. I don't want you looking at me and saying, well, sure, Jack, it's easy for you. Let me tell you how easy it was for me. When I was 15 years old, I was a disaster. A genuine, certified walking disaster. I was weak, skinny arms, hunched back, no energy. I was addicted to sugar, candy bars, sodas, junk, from morning to night. My skin was covered in acne so bad I didn't want anyone to look at me. And you know what? Girls used to beat me up. A boy getting beat up by girls. I'm not exaggerating. I was that weak, that pitiful. I hated my body. I hated getting up in the morning. I was sick, depressed, and I didn't even know why. Then my mother, God bless that woman, dragged me to a lecture, a health lecture, and the man standing at the front of that room was Paul Bragg, a nutritionist, a pioneer, a man who understood what the human body was capable of before almost anyone else did. And Paul Bragg looked out at that audience, and something he said hit me like a lightning bolt. He said, your body can be reborn. He said, no matter where you are right now, no matter how far gone you think you are, you can change. You can build something magnificent from whatever raw material you've got. I walked out of that lecture a different person. I made a decision that night, a real decision, not a wish, not a hope, a decision. I said, Jack Lalanne, you are going to change, starting tomorrow, starting now. And I went home, and I stopped eating sugar that very night, cold turkey, and I started exercising. I didn't have a fancy gym. I didn't have a personal trainer. I had determination, and I had my body, and I had a belief that it was possible. And let me tell you, those early days were hard. My muscles ached. I was tired. I wanted to quit 100 times, but I didn't quit. And slowly, week by week, month by month, that weak little boy started to disappear. In his place came something new, something strong, something alive. That was decades ago, and I have not stopped since. Not one day, not 1 week, not 1 year, 60+ years of consistency, every single morning. The weights, the pool, the commitment. And people ask me, Jack, what's your secret? There's no secret. There's no magic pill, no shortcut, no trick. The secret is that there is no secret. You work. Every day, you show up. Every day. You lift heavy things. Every day. And your body responds. Every single time. Now here's the philosophy I've built my entire life around, and I want you to burn this into your brain. Exercise is king. Nutrition is queen. Put them together and you've got a kingdom. That's it. That's the whole thing. Every complicated fitness program, every diet trend, every new supplement your neighbor is selling, it all comes back to those 2 pillars. Move your body in challenging ways. Fuel it with real food. Do those 2 things with consistency, and your body will do things that will astonish you. I've seen it happen thousands of times. I've watched people transform themselves completely. People who were told it was impossible. People who had given up on themselves. And they did it with those 2 simple principles. But let's talk about the king right now. Let's talk about lifting heavy things. Because this is where so many people are making a massive mistake, and I want to fix that mistake today. Your muscles are the engines of your body. Think about that car sitting in your driveway. What makes that car go? The engine. What happens if you let the engine sit idle for years, never running it hard, never pushing it? It deteriorates. The parts weaken. The seals dry out. The whole machine starts to fail. Your muscles are exactly the same. When you lift something heavy, when you push your muscles to work against genuine resistance, you are firing up that engine. You are telling every fiber of muscle in your body, we're needed here. We have a job. We have to grow stronger because the demands are real. And here's the beautiful thing about muscle, and I mean genuinely, wonderfully beautiful muscle is metabolically active tissue. That means it burns calories even when you're just sitting there, even when you're sleeping. Every pound of muscle on your body is like a little furnace, burning fuel around the clock. When you lift heavy and build more muscle, you are turning up your metabolic furnace. You're changing the very chemistry of your body. You're becoming a better calorie-burning machine 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Now contrast that with what happens when you don't lift. When you avoid resistance, when you sit and sit and sit, you lose muscle. Doctors call it sarcopenia, muscle wasting, that happens with age when you don't challenge your body. And as you lose muscle, your metabolism slows down. Your bones get weaker because muscle pulls on bone, and that's what keeps bone density up. Your balance gets worse. Your posture crumbles. Your joints start complaining because the muscles that support them have gone soft. And one day you bend down to pick something up off the floor and your back goes out and you wonder what happened. I'll tell you what happened. You forgot to be strong. You forgot that strength requires maintenance. You forgot to do the work. And that's the thing about your heart too. People think only cardio helps the heart. I love swimming. I swim every day. But heavy lifting, it strengthens your heart in a different and complementary way. When you pick up something heavy, your heart works hard to pump blood to those working muscles. You're building cardiovascular endurance and strength at the same time. The two work together. The king and queen work together. Your whole cardiovascular system gets the message that it needs to be strong, and it responds. Blood pressure improves. Circulation improves. Your whole inner plumbing gets cleaned out and reinforced. That's not opinion, that's physiology. That's science. I was saying this 60 years ago when people thought I was crazy, and now the research backs it up every single year. Now I want to talk about some excuses. Oh, I've heard them all. Believe me, in 60 years of teaching people about fitness, I have heard every excuse in the book, and I'm going to dismantle every single one of them right now. Jack, I'm too old to lift heavy. Baloney, too old. Listen, your body does not read your birth certificate. Your cells don't know what year it is. They only know what signals you're sending them. When you lift heavy, the signal you send is grow stronger. And your body responds to that signal at 60, at 70, at 80. Research, real scientific research, not my opinion, shows that people in their 70s and 80s who start resistance training gain significant strength and muscle mass, significant gains. From scratch, in their 70s and 80s. So you're going to tell me you're too old at 45? At 55? That's not age talking. That's fear talking. And fear is a liar. Jack, I don't have time. You have time. I guarantee you have time. You have time to watch television. You have time to scroll through that little phone. You have time to sit in traffic listening to the radio. You do not have time not to exercise, because the time you spend getting fit is paying dividends in energy, focus, productivity, and years of healthy life that you will spend doing everything else you love. I get up at 4 in the morning. 4. Not because I enjoy losing sleep, because I love my life enough to protect it. Because the 90 minutes I spend with those weights every morning make every other hour of my day better. If you cannot find 30 minutes somewhere in your 24 hours, I suggest you look harder. Look much, much harder. Jack, I'm too tired to lift. Here's a secret that tired people don't know. Exercise creates energy. That's not a paradox. That's biology. When you move your body, when you get your blood pumping and your muscles working, you trigger the release of hormones and neurotransmitters that make you feel alive, alert, and capable. The fatigue you feel from sitting too much, from living a sedentary life, that's not real tiredness. That's your body shutting down from underuse. The cure for that kind of tired is not more rest. The cure is movement. Get under a bar, lift something. I promise you, 10 minutes into that workout, you will not feel tired anymore. You will feel awake in a way you had forgotten was possible. Jack, it's too hard. Good. It should be hard. Growth requires challenge. A plant doesn't grow strong without wind. A bone doesn't get denser without stress. A muscle doesn't get bigger without resistance. Hard is not your enemy. Hard is your teacher. Hard is the door you walk through to get to where you want to be. And here's the beautiful part. It gets less hard over time. Every week you do this, you get stronger. Every week. What was impossibly heavy becomes manageable. What was impossible becomes your warm-up. That progress, that steady, weekly, undeniable progress, is one of the greatest feelings a human being can experience. You earned that strength. Nobody can take it from you. Jack, I can't afford a gym. Your body is your gym. You have 2 arms and 2 legs and a floor, and that's enough to start. Push-ups, squats, lunges, rows using a sturdy table. You can do more with your own body weight than most people ever take advantage of. And a basic set of dumbbells, basic, nothing fancy, can be found secondhand for almost nothing. I started with almost nothing. I built my first exercises around whatever I could find. The equipment is not the limiting factor. You are not the limiting factor. The decision is the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be. So let me tell you about my actual routine. Not a version of it, not a simplified description, the real thing. Every morning, the alarm goes off at 4. I don't hit snooze. Snooze is for people who are negotiating with themselves about whether they're serious. I get up, I hydrate. I have fresh juice that I've prepared vegetables, real nutrition before I even touch the weights. Then I go to my gym and I spend 90 minutes doing serious strength training. I focus on compound movements, exercises that work multiple muscle groups at once. I push and pull and squat and press. I am deliberate. I am focused. I am present with every single repetition, feeling my muscles engage, feeling the blood moving, feeling my body responding to the work. Then I swim for 30 minutes, not leisurely paddling around, actual swimming, laps, real cardiovascular effort. And when that's done, I am set for the day. I am fueled. I am strong. I am clear-headed in a way that nothing else on earth produces. Now, I'm not telling you to start there. If you've been sedentary for years, 90 minutes of heavy lifting on day 1 will wreck you. And that's not what I want. What I want is for you to build. I want you to start where you are, not where I am. If you've never lifted weights, start with your own body weight. Start with squats, just sitting down in a chair and standing back up without using your hands. That's a squat. Do 10, do 15. Feel your legs working. Feel your core engaging. That's the beginning. That's the seed of something extraordinary. Add push-ups. Start on your knees if you need to. I don't care. There's no shame in starting where you are. There's only shame in pretending you don't need to start at all. Do as many push-ups as you can, even if it's 3. Write it down, because next week you'll do 4. The week after that, 5. And 6 months from now, you'll be doing sets of 20, and you'll barely remember struggling with 3. Get some resistance in your life. Light dumbbells, resistance bands, whatever you have access to. Start doing rows for your back stand with a slight bend at the hips. Hold the weight with your arm extended. Pull it up toward your hip. Feel your back muscles engage. That's real work. That's building something. Press things overhead for your shoulders. Curl things for your arms. Do it consistently, and then progressively add more weight as it gets easier. That's the whole secret of strength training. Progressive resistance. Always giving your muscles a slightly bigger challenge than they had before. That's what keeps the growth coming. Let me tell you about 3 people whose stories I carry with me. A woman, I'll call her Margaret, came to one of my events years ago. 62 years old. She told me she hadn't done any real exercise in 20 years. She said her doctor told her bone density was low, her blood pressure was high, and she was heading for serious health trouble. She was scared and she was skeptical, but she started. She started with the basics. Bodyweight squats, wall push-ups, light dumbbell work, 3 times a week at first, then 4, then every day. A year later, Margaret came back to tell me her bone density had improved measurably. Her blood pressure was down. She had lost 30 pounds, but more than any of those numbers, she told me she felt like herself again, like a person with a future, like someone who had taken control back. Then there was a man 41 years old, overweight, working a desk job, convinced he was just the type who wasn't built for fitness. He said it was genetic. He said his whole family was heavy. You know what I told him? Your genes load the gun, but your lifestyle pulls the trigger. He didn't want to hear it at first, but he started anyway. He started lifting 3 days a week. He changed what he ate. He gave up processed food and started eating real things, vegetables and lean protein and good fats. Within 6 months, he was down 40 pounds. Within a year, he was doing things he never imagined, He ran a 5K. He was doing pull-ups. His doctor took him off two medications he'd been on for years. Genetics? His genes were the same. His choices were different. And I want to tell you about a young woman, 28 years old, who thought she couldn't lift heavy because she was afraid of getting bulky. I hear this all the time, and it drives me crazy. Ladies, listen to me carefully. Women do not have the hormonal profile to accidentally become bulky from lifting weights. That is a myth. What you will get is strong, lean, defined, and powerful. What you will get is a metabolism that works for you instead of against you. What you will get is the ability to carry your groceries, play with your children, stand up straight, and feel capable in your own body. This young woman started lifting 3 times a week. Within 4 months, she told me she had never felt more confident in her life. Not because of how she looked, though she looked fantastic, but because of what she could do. She felt powerful. And power is something no diet, no cream, no surgery can give you. Only the iron can give you that. Now, I want to talk about what happens when things get hard in a different way. Not the hard of a tough workout, but the hard of obstacles. Because they'll come. I promise you they will come, and I want you to be ready. You might get injured, maybe a shoulder issue or a knee problem or your back acts up. And when that happens, you don't stop, you adapt, you work around the injury. If your shoulder hurts, you train your legs. If your knee hurts, you find upper body movements that don't aggravate it. Your body has hundreds of muscles and dozens of ways to challenge them. An injury to one area is never a reason to shut the whole system down. That's what quitters do. Champions adapt. You will hit plateaus. Weeks where the scale doesn't move, where the weights don't go up, where you wonder if it's working. Plateaus are not failures. Plateaus are your body consolidating its gains, preparing for the next push forward. Don't panic, don't quit. Adjust something: your sleep, your food, the order of your exercises, the intensity. Change one variable. Keep moving. The plateau will break, and you will face days where you just don't feel like it. I feel like it every single day because it's become who I am. But in the early years, there were mornings where I lay in bed and argued with myself, and every single time, I got up anyway. Because I had made a commitment, not to a fitness goal, not to a number on a scale, a commitment to being the kind of person who keeps their promises to themselves. That's the real muscle you're building, the mental muscle, the muscle of integrity, of showing up when you said you would. And that muscle, that character muscle, carries into every single other area of your life. I want you to close your eyes for a moment and picture 2 roads. The first road, you keep doing what you're doing. You avoid the hard work. You make the excuses. You tell yourself you'll start Monday, start next month, start after the holidays. 5 years go by, 10 years, and you're heavier, slower, stiffer, more tired, more medicated, less mobile, less free. Simple tasks become difficult. Getting up from the floor becomes an event. Carrying your grandchildren becomes something you can only do for a minute before your back gives out. That road exists. I've seen people walk it. It's heartbreaking. Now picture the second road. You make the decision today. You start simple. You start small. But you start. And you're consistent. 3 months from now, you're noticeably stronger. 6 months in, people are asking what you're doing differently. A year from now, you are a different physical entity than you are right now. 5 years from now, you are the person in the room that other people look at and ask, how do they do it? How do they look like that at their age? That's not fantasy. That's what consistent, heavy lifting and real nutrition produce. I am living proof. I am 70 years old and I am that person. And the only difference between where I am and where you are is time plus commitment. You're choosing right now. Every day you wake up and don't exercise, you're choosing road 1. Every day you get up and do the work, you're choosing road 2. There's no neutral. There's no pause button on aging, on metabolic decline, on muscle loss. The clock doesn't stop. The question is only whether you're fighting back or surrendering. So here's what I want you to do. Not someday. Today. Right now, when this is over, I want you to do something physical. Get on the floor and do 10 push-ups. Do 20 squats. Pick up something heavy in your house and do 10 rows with each arm. Just prove to yourself that you can do something, that your body still responds, that you are not finished, because you are not finished, not by a long stretch. Then tomorrow morning, set your alarm 30 minutes earlier than usual. Just 30 minutes, and use that 30 minutes to work your body. A simple circuit: squats, push-ups, and a pulling movement if you have anything to pull. Do that every morning for a week, 7 days, just 1 week. And I promise you, you will feel different on day 8 than you did on day 1. Not just physically, mentally. You will feel like someone who does the work. because you will be someone who does the work. The third week, add weight if you can. Get some dumbbells, fill some jugs with water, use whatever resistance you have available. Make the work a little harder, because harder is how you grow. And eat real food. I eat 10 vegetables every day. 10. I juice them, I eat them whole, I make them the foundation of my nutrition. Protein too, your muscles need protein to rebuild after you work them. Lean protein, real food. Cut the processed garbage, cut the sugar. I know it tastes good. It tasted good to me too when I was 15 and destroying my body with it. But nothing tastes as good as being strong. Nothing tastes as good as being alive in the fullest sense of the word. This is your life, not a rehearsal, not a draft. The real thing, happening right now, today, in the body you're sitting in. And that body is either getting stronger or it's getting weaker. There is no middle ground. Nature doesn't do middle ground. You're building or you're declining. You're fighting for your health or you're surrendering it. And I am asking you, I am daring you to fight. Because you know what? Your family needs you strong. Your children need a parent who can play with them on the floor, who can show up fully, who can still be there decades from now. Your community needs people who are healthy and vital and contributing. And you need to feel what you are capable of. You need to know the version of yourself that picks up heavy things and doesn't flinch. The version that gets up at 5 in the morning because the day is worth greeting. The version that looks in the mirror and feels genuine pride in what they've built. That version of you is not gone. That version of you is waiting. It's waiting underneath the excuses and the inertia and the fear. It's waiting for you to make the decision that 15-year-old Jack made in that lecture hall all those years ago. The decision that says, I am worth the work. My life is worth the effort. I refuse to waste this body. I refuse to surrender this one shot I have at being fully, magnificently, undeniably alive. The iron is waiting. The weights don't care how old you are. They don't care what you look like or where you've been or how long you've been away. They're ready the moment you are. The only question is whether you're ready. Are you ready? I think you are. I think you've been ready for longer than you know. I think somewhere inside you, you've been waiting for someone to tell you it's possible. That it's not too late. That the body you want, the strength you crave, the vitality you remember, or maybe never had but always wanted, it's all still available to you. Go get it. Go get it today. Go pick up something heavy and tell your body what it needs to hear. Tell it you're back. Tell it the work starts now.